morning. I'm Judy Munson with the 13th Circuit Solicitor's Office. I'm in the Domestic Violence Unit. The solicitor, Walt Wilkins, wanted to be here. Unfortunately, he's in the terrible preparation process on the trial. So he sent me. You get like a third string here. But he is really dedicated to this issue. He knows it's an important one, and he gives us what we need when we're trying to prosecute these cases. Right now, in Greenville and Pickens County, which makes up the 13th Judicial Circuit, we have over 500 domestic violence cases pending. And that was just by counting domestic violence. That doesn't include the things that are often associated. Unlawful conduct towards a child. Because we're getting better about if a child is there when this is going down, charging that as well. The cases range in everything from pushing and shoving all the way up to strangulation and, as Robin was just talking about, even death. We do have a domestic violence unit in Greenville County that has 4 attorneys on it. We also have a dedicated investigator who is just a lifesaver. I think he's here somewhere, Greg Williams, who used to be with the Greenville City Police Department. One of the things that we're doing is we have a monthly domestic violence victim meeting at the solicitor's office. Once a month we bring in the newest cases, and we're also getting more involved at the bench trial stage in magistrate's court. And what that means is we're trying to get involved sooner, to get better information, more accurate information from these victims, and potentially bring about a quicker resolution of these cases, because that's very important. The barriers that a domestic violence victim faces in this process, they're just many. There isn't any other crime like it. I mean, we as prosecutors, we're used to having there's the victim and there's the defendant. Here, the victim has been assaulted, killed maybe, by someone they love, by someone they trust, by someone they need. It's a completely different dynamic, and that in itself is a barrier for these victims in the criminal justice process. They're also very often financially dependent on the assailant. They're just not going to flee. There are also sometimes some cultural or maybe even religious barriers that keep them from coming forward and telling somebody what's going on and asking for help. The process itself, the prosecution process, is often difficult for them as well, because the criminal justice system is made for the defendant, not necessarily for the victims. Now, in 2012, we have a better understanding about the dynamic, about the relationship between the assailant and the victim. You know, that old idea of, well, if she is really afraid of him, she would leave. That's gone. The idea of, why don't you just leave it? Us actually telling victims that. That's gone as well. We have a better understanding of what's going on, and we're trying to do better. We practice evidence-based prosecution under Solicitor Wilkins, and what that means is we look at the evidence. If a victim cannot or will not cooperate with us, we look at the evidence that we have, the 911 calls, the photographs, the law enforcement going out and getting statements from other people. And let me tell you, based on the quality of law enforcement in the 13th Circuit, it's getting less hard to prosecute cases without the victim cooperating. We tell them that if they want to stay, stay safe. If you're going to leave, leave safe. And we try to take all this into account. Domestic violence is just like a wildfire. It's going to consume everything in its path unless it's either put out or the fuel is gone. And what we need now, we have great law enforcement, we have so many agencies that are here, I mean, this is evidence of it. We want for the community to become firefighters with us. We want for someone in the community, if you hear something going on next door, don't plug your ears, call law enforcement. If someone comes to you for help, offer it. Be aware. Look at what's going on in your own families. And together, with law enforcement, with everyone in this room, we can put out this fire.